My name's James.
And I'm Ashley.
Last year we sold our house and we're traveling across the country with our kids.
Hi, my name's Goose, and this is Maverick. Come join us!
So I'm back in the kids' bedroom, you guys, because this is where our fuse box is and our fuse panel. And the reason I have this all ripped apart is because lately, especially the past few days, we've been noticing a lot of issues with, like, when we're running the microwave or using the fireplace, any high amperage items, that the LED lights would flicker. Because I then noticed that the 12-volt system would then drop and get lower. But the weird part about it is only one half of the 12-volt system would do it, because I have a sensor reading from back here and then a sensor reading from up on the actual inverter itself, and there was discrepancies between the two. And if you guys have been with us for a while, you remember that back in the day we had some issues similar, and I had to re-ground it and add a new ground to help complete the cycle. So I was thinking maybe it was the same thing, but I'm digging around and trying to reground things, and just I can't figure out what's going on. I have very limited, you guys know I'm not an electrician, I'm not an expert, I just do research and try and figure out what's going on, but I can't figure it out for the life of me. So I don't know what's going on right now. But the thing that really got us concerned today, and why I'm doing all this digging around, is because when we were using the microwave, we only got up to about 1600, so 1600 watts, and our Multiplus shut off. For those of you that don't know, we have the Multiplus 3000, which means we should easily be able to handle up to 3000 watts. And so at half that, our inverter shut off, which really gave me issues or concern. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I just have no idea. And the bummer is today's actually a travel day. We're supposed to be heading over to the Portland, Oregon area in a few hours. So I really don't have a whole lot of time to try and get this done. So with that being said, I'm going to stop talking to you guys and get in the underpass and try and figure out what's going on. So you can see there's a full volt of discrepancy between testing it here on the inverter and testing it on the actual batteries. And I'm trying to figure out where this discrepancy is coming from.
Here's the thing, guys. I would go outside to video him, but it's 30 degrees and cold. So we'll just get a lovely butt shot. Isn't it cute?
Alright guys, so here's what's going on. I finally think I figured out what is happening. At a glance here, I know it probably looks like chaos and a mess. I was testing out using my voltmeter here, trying to figure out where the discrepancies was happening. So I was testing on the batteries. I tested between the shunt in here, just trying to figure out where that loss of a full volt was coming from. And the other difficulty is it's not just always a massive variable. The major problem comes from when you're using high amperage things like the microwave or the electronic fireplace. And that's when the voltage would drop all the way down below 11 and a half. That's why I finally figured out the inverter shut off on me. That's where the big problem was coming from. And so I was trying to figure out what happened, and I think I finally figured it out. Check this out. If you guys look right up here on our fuse, it's a big 300 amp fuse. The fuse itself looks fine, but when you look on the inverter side of the actual fuse container, the fuse box thing, it's all burned and scarred. So at some point in time, a large spike or something happened, a short happened, and it caused this side of the fuse to have a major issue. I am so thankful that somehow a fire didn't start or it didn't cause further damage, because the system still works. The fuse didn't pop. It's still running power through it. Apparently it just, my assumption, my theory so far is that it's just causing not a great connection, and so it's causing that lack of power. But that's the theory anyway. I really, like I said, I am not 100% sure what is going on here. I am not an electrician. I'm just basing this off of my research and just what I can see with my own two eyes. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this fixes our problem. By the way, that's screw. I just put that one in there to keep the kids from getting in here, since for some reason they put the circuit breaker in a kid's bedroom at floor level. So I just added that as a safety to keep Maverick from getting in there. Whew, it is frigid outside. Whew. Okay, so here's what's going on, guys. Here's the deal. I figured out exactly what's... Speaking of being cold, there's the heater. We'll turn it down to 65. So after I figured out what I thought it was, I actually went ahead and reached out to Battleborn Batteries, even though today is a Sunday. I shot them an email, and within less than an hour, they got back to me and said, hey, we passed this on to the right person. They'll reach out to you via phone call as soon as they can. So awesome that on a Sunday, the Battleborn is still willing to help everybody out. So I got a phone call, talked to them, described them the problem, and I was right. So basically what happened is there must have been a slightly loose connection or something like that on that A&L fuse, that 300 amp fuse, and they just caused enough resistance that it caused it to heat up. And apparently that's a thing that happens more often than not, or more often than I would like to say, on those A&L fuses. So he went ahead and let us know that if we wanted to, we could go ahead and bypass that fuse for the next few days till we get a new one in. That made me a little bit nervous, so we are just staying connected as is, but we're just going to really limit our power use so that way we're not going above like 1500 watts, and that should be sufficient until we get the new fuse in about 2 days. And actually I ordered a new fuse, which is like more like a circuit breaker, so instead of just a 300 amp fuse that you have to replace, it actually snaps and disconnects it almost like a circuit breaker in your home. So I'm really hoping that this one works out well. I believe I've seen some other RVers use a similar fuse in their system, so I've got high hopes for this. It got pretty good reviews on Amazon, but later on in this video, when that fuse arrives, I'll go ahead and install that and we'll let you know really how it works. We have made it up here to Mirror Lake, you guys. It's up here in Government Camp, right next to Ski Bowl. A lot of the ski resorts for Mount Hood, it's all up in the same area. And what I love is it's only about 15 minutes from our campground. And if you couldn't tell, it's a little bit chilly today. So I'm hoping once we get in the trees and get hiking, the wind won't be as intense and our blood will start pumping and we'll warm up a little bit. You ready? All right, we just finished lunch, still snacking a little bit, but this is our first hike in how many months? Mom's a little bit cold. You look cold, Mommy?
A little bit.
It's been a while since we've been out on an adventure day, so I am ready to go. So this Mirror Lake trail hike has been around for years, and I've known about it since I was a kid, but I have never done it before. But in the past couple years, they actually did this big, huge remodel project of the trail, as well as this trailhead. This is actually probably about a quarter mile up the road from where the trailhead used to be, and there used to only be a spot for like maybe 10 or 15 cars. And as you can see, if you look over here, they've like quadrupled that. It's like a legit size parking lot. So it's kind of cool to have all these project pictures from them doing the remodel. We're 2 minutes into the hike and Ashley's already got her homeschool mom lesson going on. Way to go, Mom.
Oh, thanks.
We're learning about, do you think this was knocked over in the wind by an animal or by humans?
Well, Oregon's known for its logging.
Yeah. It's all about getting out to nature and observing, creature adventuring. What creatures do you think we'll see today, love? Not sure?
Squirrels. Didn't we know Oregon's fun
Where's a
squirrels?
good, like this right here?
We can't. Oh, I love it. How you doing, Mav? Yeah. I'll be very interested to see how Mav does because she did sleep in today, which is excellent, but we're gonna be hiking through nap time, which is always a little bit iffy with the 2-year-old. can definitely tell they just redid this whole trail, because not only does the trail feel new, but the bridges, it looks like brand new wood. It hasn't been that like weathered dark wood yet. It even has the new wood smell. Oh, it's funny, as we're hiking through here, it totally reminds me of the trails I ride on the dirt bikes. Reminds me specifically of Jones Creek Trail. Through the trees, I feel like I'm in Star Wars right now. What was that? You having fun? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Which one? No, she's using my hood to keep her hands warm. The Cheetos, Math? Are they good? Yeah. You want to tell them what's going on?
We're heading back.
So unfortunately, guys, we forgot Mom's inhaler, and because we went from the super warm truck out to the cold mountaintop at this high elevation, her asthma's starting to act up, and so we're only about 0.7 miles from the end. Oh, thank you. But then we have to hike back, which is about another 2 miles. So also, because of this construction that they did, they remodeled this trail. It went from being, I think, like a 2.2 mile round trip, which is what I thought was perfect, to then being more like a 3.6, you said? What did you say? So, unfortunately, that's like, that would be like the longest trail we would want to do, which we probably could have made happen, but because Ashley's asthma is acting up, we have to turn back, which is... it's a bummer, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, we'll have to come back sometime and get out here to the end of the trail.
Make sure that my inhaler is...
Yeah, make sure Mommy actually packs her inhaler.
Last thing I want to do though is have a full-blown...
Yeah, you would hate to have an asthma attack, you know, an hour or hour and a half hike from your truck. Yeah. So we're headed back. Ready, Mav?
Uh-huh.
This is actually the first time she's hiked. She's been in a backpack the whole time.
Yep. Keep going. Keep going, my little unicorn.
Alright guys, so it has been a few weeks since we recorded that whole electrical issue section, and I did have a chance to install this little 300 amp circuit breaker fuse. As you can see, when it goes above that 300 amps, it pops it just like a circuit breaker, which is really convenient because it actually acts as a shut-off switch as well if you want to shut it off. Unfortunately, whoever the manufacturer of this little device is lied about the 300 amp rating, because I would say at about 100, maybe 150 amps is when this thing would pop. So it would be popping on us all the time. So this guy lasted about a day until we decided that I needed to order something else and replace this, because it was just a pain in the butt. I was constantly going under there and having to flip it back on, because when this popped, everything, it disconnected the battery. So all the 12 volt system as well as the 120 volt system would go offline and we would be in the dark. And now that I have this out, I wanted to show you guys a closer up picture of this thing. This is our original 300 amp A&L fuse, and look at that. That just melted. I took off the nuts and bolts. I can't even get this thing out. It is melted and welded into place. So this guy, I am so thankful that our house or our trailer did not catch on fire, because like, look at that. That is a fire hazard waiting to happen. So what I did is I actually went ahead and I did tons of research. I tried to find another better fuse box or a breaker like this, and I just couldn't find any that I thought would be reliable. So I ordered a similar 300 amp A&L fuse like this and had that installed. And so far we've been going for about a week on that and have had no issues. So I will link that one up right there if you guys want to check out exactly what fuse I ordered. It was just the well-rated Amazon A&L fuse on there. It was fairly affordable. I think it was like 20 bucks. You guys can check that out if you're interested. If any of you guys know of a better rated circuit breaker like this, a 300 amp breaker, let me know down below in the comments, because I would love to have this in there instead of an A&L fuse, since these are kind of prone to having resistance issues like this. I would love to have one so I could have a disconnect as well as a breaker in there. So if you guys know, comment down below. Otherwise, you're just stuck with these A&L fuses. So I guess that's it. That's life. Sometimes you just stuck with using what you got. Anyways, guys, if you guys have any more questions, I'll leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. But until next time, stay positive, get out there. Life is an adventure, so make some memories.